All right. We are live and we are streaming in a couple of different places today. First and foremost, I am Jessica Alstrom and this is Second Sunday. I have been doing this Second Sunday broadcast, this live stream, for 6 years now. And it all started as as an opportunity for me to take my power back in my personal life. I was at the time going through a divorce and I was having a kundalini rising and I was waking up and I was seeing things and hearing things and knowing things and I got caught in that push-pull between your old reality and your new reality. And I was faced with this critical position with myself that either be normal mom or possibly, lose your children because I was going through so much. And I chose to come out of the closet and share my gifts with the world. And I started doing something called Second Sunday, which was a live energy broadcast around the world to let you guys know where the signature fingerprint of vibration and frequency is radiating and what we are going through as humans, what we are going through as a collective, what we are going through individually, what we are going through with our evolution. And we all know that life has been very, very different since 2012. I'm just making sure we are live. Good. Everything's been different, but we've been waiting. We're like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And then just like typical, nature, everything happens at once. So this year has been a critical year in our evolution. It has been the most intense awakening that we have had because there's physical proof that things are changing. Demographics are changing. Governments are changing. People are literally stepping in and out of power all over the planet. We have gone through a collective pandemic together. So in January, if you remembered in Second Sunday, I told you guys that you would be embarking on your own personal vision quest. And a vision quest is about pulling you from your outside world, shoving you deep down into your interior world and learning exactly who you are. Now that's where you're doing right now. We are all doing it. And I have chosen to stand today, get out of my seat. I spend a lot of time behind this video here, working with students all over the world. And I wish I was broadcasting from Hawaii today, but still in Kansas City. But I always have my trusty bridge with me. And this bridge is the demonstration or the metaphor of our journey from a third dimensional, very separated, segregated, very lack-based, very false sense of abundance, very comfortable slavery, into the unknown. And you guys have all been watching very closely as all of the gurus and teachers and prophets and guides and healers tell you guys, hey, we're in 5D, and you're scratching your head and going, okay, but I'm seeing riots and I'm seeing anger and I'm seeing shame within my own heart and I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that. If I'm in 5D, why am I all experiencing that? Well, if you're experiencing that, you're on this bridge. And this bridge technically is what we consider the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension isn't as necessarily a place. It is a state of being. It is your journey into courage and self-awareness and self-realization. It is about resolving karma. It is about remembering yourself. It is about bilocating yourself from off-planet fractaled consciousness that resides within you, we call higher self. Okay, so you're navigating, your awakening process is the journey over this rickety, scary bridge that you don't think can support you. It's wobbly, it's unknown, it seems very, very broken. It has a ton of uncertainty, and you don't think that you know anyone over there. You think it's going to be very, very, very lonely because your family and friends and everything that is connected to your heartstrings and anchored to the shackles of your ankles reside on the other side, we call land, right? And over on the other side is like a boat in the middle of the ocean, and we call that 5 dimensions. So right now I'm currently doing a workshop for an amazing group called Positive Life Club in Ireland, and I'm giving them a really quick kind of demonstration of what the fifth dimension or Earth looks like in a human perspective. Because again, you're looking at the world through your 5 linear senses, and you can't quite make sense of the holographic universe that you're actually playing a big game of chess on. And this big game of chess is literally the game of density. It's the game of duality versus non-duality. So if the third dimension or the old paradigm is the third dimension, right? Time, space, heavy, slow, right? Very, very based in starvation and gluttony. And then over in the fifth dimension, where you have access to endless choice, turning limits into potentials, letting go of attachments, owning your own ideas, letting go of belief systems, altering the human body from carbon to crystal, moving into a state of instant manifestation and grace, understanding and communicating telepathically through the heart. Sounds pretty awesome. And there's many, 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 many people on this planet already over there. And we're waving you to come and get on this boat with us, because I will tell you the coolest thing about what is going on in a fifth dimensional reality is it's not a destination, guys. It's a state of being. It's a state of vibration that comes from within you. It is a universal space within you. It is not outside of you. And when the inside changes, those physical eyes you see will begin to see a reality that is much, 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 much more different than what you might be looking at right now outside of your house. Now, there's so much going on to kind of break up this third dimensional reality. It's almost like you're getting pushed onto that bridge. You've heard that beautiful quote that says, let go or be dragged. I say that on almost every second Sunday because it's never been more true than now. And the reason why is because third dimension is literally breaking down around you. It is decomposing. It is moving from an old paradigm into a new paradigm. It is literally having a death experience. Now, in order for it to crumble, right, if you're a big fan of things like the Bible and old stories like that, then you will probably reading and you're looking at things that appear to be happening in this time and space. And it's probably freaking you out a little bit, right? Because you're looking at, all hell breaking loose. You're looking at the walking through the shadow of death. You're looking at all these things and you're saying, wow, these prophets and these amazing writers of our time have left us these breadcrumb trails to let us know what would be happening with us. Now, we're taking it literal, which the human mind loves to do that. But you understand is that everything in the universe is metaphorical. So yes, all hell is breaking loose, and it needs to. And the best analogy that I can give you, because I love to teach in metaphors, is that if you've ever done a home remodel, if you have ever destroyed your kitchen or been around someone who did a home remodel, you understand that it was a very exciting. This is you in 2012. Oh my gosh, we're going to remodel the kitchen. It's going to be so fantastic. It's our dream kitchen. Yay, I can't wait. And then the time it takes to get into that vibration and save the money and get the house ready and fix all the other things. And then the day of demo happens. And I would call 2020 our first year of demolition, right? It is the first year where it's like, okay, it's demo time. Now, you understand that if you've ever gone through a demolition period in a remodel, that it is stressful, right? You're doing your dishes in the bathroom tub, like everybody's sharing that bathroom. It's on top, you can't find anything. And the demolition also exposes underlying problems in your plumbing, right? In your electrical and in your foundation. And that is what is going to be happening on planet Earth for a little bit longer, right? We can't say how long because the probabilities change so quickly based on who we are individually. When I raise my vibration, I shorten the time span. When you raise your vibration, you shorten the time span of how this all unfolds. This is why eyes on your own paper, doing your own work, working on your inner universe, expanding into your fifth dimensional consciousness is the best gift you could give humanity right now, the Earth, right? Everyone on it You can't run out and save them right now. You got to run in and clean up the mess that's going on within you. So as you begin to find these broken pipes and wonky foundations and electrical storms that are going on inside underneath your remodel, we could call it a pandemic. We could call it race riots. We could call it protests. Because what happens is when you discover all of these things within yourselves, and we discover collectively that we've been lied to, and we've been abandoned, and we've been tricked, and we've been robbed, and we've been stolen from, and we've been denied, we've been all those things, we are looking at the deepest part of our shadow self. We're looking at the lineage that is sitting in our body that has race wars and genocide and slavery embedded down deep into your DNA. And if all hell is breaking loose, then it all has to come up. And if it all has to come up, it is usually metaphorically demonstrated through emotional awareness. Okay, emotion, energy in motion. It is a byproduct of your weather that you see on your planet. It is creating the storms. It is creating everything. And it has to come up and out if we're going to move into a crystalline Christ consciousness body type, right? If we want that Bugatti car, right, we've got to clean it up and get out of that old beat up Buick that we're driving, right? Your body is upgrading. And through every solar flare and, 6 planets in retrograde and lunar eclipses and full moons, the earth is literally pushing you out of your nest along with the cosmos, along with your higher self, and saying it's time for you to fly. All right. But as you get out of that nest, you realize that you may not know how to fly. You may not know how to trust yourself, your own wings, because you haven't used them before. And this is your vision quest that you're on this year. This is about exposing deep, dark places within you, okay? This is about watching other people lose it, absolutely lose it. Even people who you held on a pedestal this time last year, maybe even took some of their workshops, you're watching them literally lose it, come undone, expose themselves. Now, this is the most beautiful thing that could happen to us, because through exposure, we can get back to transparency. We can realize is that to understand non-duality is to utilize the shadow aspect of ourselves in an empowering perspective of love. It is about taking those limitations that we have in our body, in our consciousness, in our mind, and turning them into potentials, working through the shadows, working through the rage, the anger, the shame, and the guilt that is uprooting your body grief right now. Your body grief is coming up, okay? Some of us have already gone through this the last couple of years, right? I would say that my 2016 was the walk through the shadow of death. It was a pretty lonely experience. I thought I was going to give up on all of this. But here I am today, walk through the fire, resurrected as the phoenix, and I'm on the other side, ready to party with the margarita and waiting for everybody to get over here. And I would say that living in a space of non-duality creates such a high perspective of what the world is going through, because watching the world uproot itself and watching lies be exposed so that you can go back to your intuitive guidance system and turn it back on and make deliberate choices coming from your heart. Because one thing you guys need to understand about this big game of chess that we're playing on planet Earth is that both sides, both opponents, what do you call the light, the dark, whatever, the negative, the positive, however you want to describe it, it's all non-duality, but for game purposes, right? If you've ever played dominoes or Monopoly with your family and all of a sudden you see an edge come out of your mom that you've never seen before, and you're like, whoa, she's like intense. This is kind of like what it is on Earth. From above, we're all family, right? But when we get down here and we get on a game of challenge, that shadow side comes out and we both want to win. Now, a lot of you guys didn't get the handbook when you were incarnated about what Earth really is. It's all virtual reality. It is all simulation based in hallucinations and holograms, dictated through frequency and vibration, which means that you are not here to suffer. You're here to learn how to play the game. You're here to work on yourself to get better at the game. And then you're here to manipulate energy and create the game. You are here to write the code, write your own dreams, write your own hallucinations, and then act as if, materialize it, and move forward. But in the essence of us all getting better at this, because I know we've all been on this spiritual journey for a really long time, and we've read the books, and we've taken the workshops, and we've channeled the messages, and we've had the messages channeled to us, and we've sat in the sound baths, and we've had energy work done, and we've chanted, and we've sung, and we've danced, and we have recalibrated our inner child. The other side is equally as efficient, all right? So as the light gets lighter, the dark gets darker, because as we practice this game, we learn each other. We learn each other's weaknesses, we learn each other's strengths, and it feels a lot of times in this physical reality 10 steps forward, 10 steps back, because the game is designed to suck you back into the third dimensional world of I can't have what I want. You're not good enough to have what you want. Smart enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, talented enough, or your product isn't as good as the person who just released their workshop online, right? So that is that program that is designed to suck you back in. And the reason why it can suck you back in so easily is because you have a body loaded with ancestral rooted programs that say that that is the truth. And we call those core belief systems. And they are housed just below the cellular memory in a subatomic structure that you have within you. Now, this is what you've been doing the last few years, is cleaning all that out, cleaning out your programs, cleaning up your trauma, taking responsibility for your post-traumatic stress, cleaning house when it comes to toxic friends, maybe leaving marriages, changing jobs, spending money and time on yourself, getting that self-love back in order, learning to play again. And on the other side, they're watching and learning. And as we move into a fifth density, a fifth dimension, then their equivalent, the opposing team that we're playing against, it's all love above, but when we're down here, it's all a challenge, and it's basically it's death of the game, right? It's all about winning down here. So from the other side of the spectrum, we could call it the darkness versus the light. It's very Luke Skywalker. Darkness is learning you. It's learning your upgrades. It's learning your choices. It's learning your attention. It's learning your focal points. It's learning your timelines. And because it's not using a heart connection that is located with the whole planet and universe itself, directly connected to source energy, it has to come up with another way to communicate with you and draw you back into suffering. Now, the only thing that the dark can use against you is your mind. Your mind, because your mind is connected to the body if higher self is not utilizing the heart as your central brain. If higher self is not using your central heart as the brain, then technically the brain of the human body, that is a biocomputer that has learned through memories, repetition, practice, and observation, will believe it is what it is based on the identity of its uprising or its upbringing. It knows you from who you've been. It doesn't know the who you are, right? It doesn't know the God spark within you. It doesn't know that you've traveled many lifetimes to have this particular incarnation. All it knows is that you didn't get what you wanted when you were 7. Mom liked your brother better. You've got 2 failed marriages. You went bankrupt when you were 28, blah, 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 blah. And that's who you are. So that's how you are controlled, is through your mind, okay? Have you guys noticed whenever you start to feel bad, you're in your mind, you're thinking, your thoughts are going down that trail of who you used to be. You're putting a conclusion together based on what you think you are, and you're dropping in a lower vibration. Now, as soon as you drop into boredom, There is this point where you're in this 0 point frequency, where you're not on and you're not off. You're not 5D, you're not 3D. You're in the idle position when your car is just waiting for you to tell it what to do. And you're saying, oh, I'm feeling really bored. This could very easily turn into depression. Or this is really boring. I could create and invent something to do here. I could imagine my way out of this vibration. So it's at that center point where you are untouchable. It is at that center 0 point energy field where you cannot be touched by anyone because you have not made a choice. As soon as you make a choice to go into a creative space or go into, woe is me, pull out the violins, let's cry, let's think about all the times we didn't get our way, let's think about all the money we've lost and all the people we've lost and how this bridge isn't taking me anywhere and I've wasted so much time and money. Woe is me. You are in the grasp of the darkness. Now, you are controllable. You, which means the me, myself, and I within you is controllable. When you drop out of boredom into a lower frequency. Now, let's talk about those frequencies for a little bit, right? Anger, we've got rage, we've got humiliation, we've got shame, guilt, resentment. We've got doubt, we've got worry, we've got stress, we've got depression, we've got loneliness, we have loss, we have grief, okay? On those frequencies, you are now playing for your opposing team of the darkness. Now, you are controlled through frequency and vibration, just like you control things through frequency and vibration. You are now being controlled. So even though you think you're playing for the team of light and love, and you've got to practice and you certify people for Reiki, you're technically playing for the dark side because your vibration has dropped out. You're in a state of mind control now. And through 5G, right, your thoughts are no longer safe. You know, for our whole lives when we were kids, you know, our parents controlled what we did with our bodies, what we ate, where we went, how we lived. We had to go to school, we had to go to church, we had to eat our vegetables, blah, 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 blah. But notice how free we were when we were in our minds and how safe we felt and how our imagination and our thoughts were at least private. Well, guess what? As the evolutionary state of being unfolds, your thoughts are no longer private if you are below the frequency of boredom, which means 5G, okay, can access your thoughts from the cloud. Because in 5D, we are technically returning to our telepathic state. Now in 5D, you're telepathic through the heart. You're telepathic through the heart connection that is connected to every other heart. And we call that the unity spectrum or the unified field of potential through the heart. Now, when you're in the mind, you always think, well, I'm separate. Nobody can read my thoughts. Nobody can see what I'm thinking. But that's not true because your thoughts are a form of matter that you can't see. And anything in matter is controllable through a power source, right? Through electromagnetic frequencies and pulses. It can be read just like any text message. Your thoughts, feelings, worries, insecurities, and memories are all located in the 5G cloud, okay? And the 5G cloud is about using your own thoughts to pull on your heartstrings, pull on your worries and fears, pull on all of that stuff within you, and sink you back into a place where you're saying, well, what is the point of all this? My podcast doesn't even matter. There's already 1 million podcasts out there. Who cares about my book? Who cares about my story, right? I can't even pay my bills this month, right? And then all of a sudden, you get a pop-up on your social media feed that says, hey, refinance your home now because you just thought you don't have enough money to pay your bills. And their solution is to solve a problem with a problem and have you go into debt and get sucked back more into the program. So I'm hoping that this is making sense for you guys because it really is just a game of chess. And when you look at this game, if you have any competitive edge within you, which is pretty high frequency, even if your only competition is yourself, which is what it should be, is you want to win. You want to be better than who you were yesterday. So what are we going to need to do to really get out of the cloud of 5G, become unlimited sources of manifestational choice and connection and unity through the heart, and create our own realities like that? But things we want, not that bittersweet old school stuff that we used to do where it was really embarrassing, some of our manifestations, because we've always had this power. Now, if the only way that you can be controlled is your mind, and I'm always telling you guys, get out of your head, get out of your head, drop into your heart, drop into your heart. Hopefully this little second Sunday is helping you make sense of all of this, because it really is that simple. If you drop into your heart and you remember who you were when you were a child, the child is not racist. It isn't in judgment. It is in judgment of itself. It's not in judgment of you. It may not understand certain things that go on in the world, but it asks questions because it's curious, and curiosity is a very high frequency. And that takes me back to a story of my son. And you guys, if you've been on this journey with me for the last 6 years, you have watched me have this amazing little boy and raise him. He's now 7 years old. He's one of 4. My oldest is 25, all grown up, but he's the one I've gotten to watch consciously move through his 7-year cycle with ease and grace and a lot of chaos. It was an interesting fact because right when the riots broke out here in the US, it was all this black or white, wrong and right, racism, non-racism, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, it's like you've got this entitlement because of your skin color, or you've got, or you're put in harm's way. And really what it is it's a story and it's a metaphor. Even when we're looking at the idea of us having to wear masks for 3 months, it's a metaphor of the dark side wanting you to put your mask back on. Because when you're wearing a mask, you're living a dual reality. When you're wearing a mask, no one can actually see the real you. And it's a metaphor to control that. Not that I'm saying that you shouldn't wear a mask, because I could care less. But this is a metaphor for you guys to understand how you are being controlled through metaphors of frequency and vibration. Wear the mask, which means keep living the double life. Keep telling your mom and dad what they want to hear, and then go do what you want to do over there. Keep staying in that toxic relationship and having that affair. Keep refinancing your house and going and living in a rented lifestyle. Keep living paycheck to paycheck. Keep eating all of that white sugar and processed food because you deserve it. You've worked really hard and you need to spend all your money on self-care, right? And so it's this kind of like push-pull. Then it's Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all lives matter, right? And people are protesting, and there's false truths being highlighted, and the media is controlling fear to pump fear into our collective so that we go back into the game where we can be controlled. And we're saying, you know what, maybe we're going to turn off the social media a while, and maybe I'm going to take my little boy to the lake, which is exactly what I did. And I took my little boy to the lake, and there was no swimming signs everywhere, and there was a lot of people there because they just wanted to get out. This was right when quarantine let out. We were in phase 1. Get out, sunny, beautiful day here in Kansas City. We have beautiful lakes here. And he strolls down to the water and he gets in the water, and a police officer decides that he's going to tell everybody to get out of the water. So comes down, very triggered police officer tells everyone to stop swimming, which was silly. And so my son decided that he was going to collect seashells for the rest of the day. Now, the only seashells, which is really interesting, the only seashells that he could find were those little lake seashells that are basically stripped with black and white, half black, half white. They look like a little cookie that was dipped into milk or something. And he had probably 100 of them. And he just kept bringing them to me and bringing them to me and bringing them to me. And I didn't know what to do with them. And he said, Mom, I have an idea what I'm going to do with these shells. I said, okay, go for it. And, I got lost in what I was doing. All of a sudden, I look over, I don't see him. He's in a pile of people handing out shells. He's over here handing out shells. He's handing out shells. And he comes back, and I said, what are you doing with those shells? He says, well, I'm going around and I'm giving everybody the black and white shells because I want everybody to know that God made us all black and white inside and that we're all the same. So I'm showing everybody that we're all the same. And he continued to pass these shells out. And it really brought me back to that center point of that 0 point energy of the child within us. The child knows best. It remembers that this is all about love. It is all about sharing. It is all about reminding each other who we are. It is all about play. It is all about abundance within ourselves. It is about finding the free parts of yourselves and experiencing and expressing those things. Because you guys, with this retrograde that we're in right now, and I told you guys every planet would be in retrograde this year for your vision quest to help remind you and reboot you and reset you and re-trigger you, right? And remind you of all of the things that you need to clean up. And hopefully you're peeling through pain and you're finding love underneath. And I will tell you that because 5D is not it's not a state, it's not a new world, it's not a, you don't need a passport to get there. It's your state of being. It's what you're vibrating. It's what you will see. You will literally be on a new idea of Earth within yourself, within your own universe. And on that side, you will be evolving. And on the other side, you will be revolving. You will just revolve. You will take 10 steps forward, 10 steps back. You will run really quick to try to outrun your fears, and you will start right back at your beginning point. You will chase your dreams, and you'll end up right back in your problems. You will chase your new loves, and they will treat you exactly how the past has treated you. You will chase a better body, and you will find yourself at the starting point where you have given up because you're using willpower. All right? So it's so important that we understand to pull back from what is happening and realize that the world is going through a kitchen remodel. And if the world is going through a kitchen remodel, there is going to be times where people get frustrated with each other. You're spending too much time and money. You're finding problem after problem after problem after problem. So my advice to you is that any remodel that you've done, find the joy of the remodel. Find the joy in picking out the new tile. Find the joy in going and walking through the homes and looking at the beautiful kitchens, because this is where you have to imagine as if. This is where you start planning who you choose to be. This is where you drop into the heart so that you are completely uncontrollable, that your limits turn into potentials. And because the heart is connected to unified hearts across the world, people will come into your life that actually love you and want to help you, because it's a heart connection, not a telepathic mind connection designed to mind F you back into pain and suffering. You've seen the difference where you've needed something out of fear, you've attracted a person, a place, or a thing, and it's created more problems and more fear. When you've attracted something from your heart's desire, like those babies and those puppies and those kittens and that nature, that stays, doesn't it? It stays forever. And also what I've noticed as I've gotten on the other side of the bridge, the people that I had to leave behind who were hurting me, or a belief that I was being hurt, which wasn't true, when I actually got to the other side, I realized it was just me hurting me. All of those relationships have been reconciled and rebuilt out of love. All of them. You guys have been hearing me talk about my nemesis and my heartbreaks over the years. And I will tell you, as I've gotten to the other side of this bridge, all those relationships have mended and they've turned into love. And so you're not having to abandon anyone on this journey. You're not having to leave behind your family, but you will leave behind the version of them stuck in pain. You will leave behind the version of them who wants to revolve. You will leave behind those versions of everyone, because you're actually leaving behind the snakeskin of who you were and taking all of yourself. Your ego integrates into higher self. Inner child returns. The I am is God enters body, and that is what the stories of the Christ consciousness is when God enters body, and life is lived through the heart, and life choices are made from the heart, and we're kind instead of right all the time, and our belief systems turn into ideas and inventions, and hope and grace returns. This is what we are moving towards. So whatever is pulling at you right now, whatever is confusing you right now, take stock and really sit with yourself about these analogies that I've shared with you, and ask yourself, what part of the demolition are you at? Because you know that if you resist that remodel, it could take a really long time. And if you move into the 7th step of manifestation, which we lovingly call surrender, you will be divinely guided across this bridge. You will make it to the other side. You will let go of all of the problems. They will all turn into solutions. All the magic of your life will return. And so what I've done is to kind of help you guys through this journey, this bridge journey, is I've been since January writing and constructing and living through my latest workshop called the Vision Quest, because this isn't easy, and it hasn't been easy for me. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm on the other side, and I'm like, whoo. So I know how to get you there, but it hasn't been easy because there's a lot of distraction and distortions. There's a lot of images that are appearing to be real in your life that are just holographic that you've already processed. You're 99% of the way there, and it's time for you to literally just look at where you are, accept it, move into it, clear out all the rest of that pain body, move into a higher state of consciousness, and take ownership of this fifth dimensional state of being, which is closer to your true nature of your higher self, where you get to play in the field of choice, play of potentials, play of ideas, inventions, and new communities, new economics, new governments. You guys, I told you in 2016, Trump would be our last president. And the interesting thing is that, you know, I saw this picture on Facebook, and it was, you know, I mean, here in June in the United States, this is Pride Month. This is where we celebrate the rainbow energy. This is where we celebrate love is love. You know, love is love, male, female, male, male, female, 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 female. You know, it's like we get to celebrate love in June. And for the first time in a really long time, the White House was not lit up in the rainbow colors. And everybody's like, see, Trump hates us. Now, I'm not taking a political stand on presidents, but I will give you guys a metaphor here. Because the White House has not been lit up for Pride Month, he's getting a lot of bad flack that he doesn't care about our gay community, which is interesting because if we were looking at what was really happening at this part of the chess game, right? This part of the chess game, in 2016, I said that we would have a president who would make us understand we didn't need a president. I said we are going to choose a president who appears like a very wrong choice that will teach us how to make the right choices. I will give you guys a president that's going to teach you how to look within. I will give you a president, not me personally, but I'm channeling here, to give you an opportunity to self-govern. So the lights being off at the White House is an opportunity for you to become the rainbow lights within, for you to be able to go out and demonstrate that you can be the president of the United States through your actions, thoughts, deeds. That you can go clean up your neighborhood. You can love your neighborhood. You can stop judging the judgers. You can stop getting mad at the Karens all over the world for self-policing everyone and start becoming the change that you wish you could see. And this is where we are. So I have 2 new programs coming out on my brand new website, jessicaalstrom.com. One is an 11-week, yes, you're right, 11 weeks. It's got to be, guys, it needed to be 6 months, but I broke it down into 11 weeks. That is going to help you move all the way from 3rd dimension into the 5th dimension using your potential, helping using your limits, turning them into potential, clearing the rest of the shadow layer of your body, moving into the Christ consciousness frequencies, returning to abundance, returning to frequencies of love and freedom, right? Now, as a bonus, some of you guys have been asking me, Jess, you're 45, how are you like getting so fit, right? Well, I knew that end of times and beginning of 5D was coming. So for the last 2 years, you guys, I have not been on a spiritual journey. I have been on a journey into my body to get to know this human vehicle that we're in. And I stopped reading the books, which I never really read, and I stopped watching YouTube, which I never really watched. And I started having conversations with this. And I started using a process called alchemy or quantum fitness to recalibrate my system because, you know, 10 years ago, I had an autoimmune disease. I was about 35 to 40 pounds overweight, which I have been chronically my entire life due to a 35-year-old eating disorder. I called self-hate, right? And so I really didn't know the body. You know, I had the intelligent connection with source energy. I was writing workshops. I was teaching all over the world. But when I looked in the mirror, I really didn't know what I was supposed to eat. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know how I was supposed to move because I had really lost that relationship with myself. And as I have healed my own body, I've learned how to alchemize time and space and frequencies into that which I choose. I've learned how to connect with my cellular memory and utilize epigenetics in a way where I really get to play all the time and I'm not locked into any diet or fitness program. I literally play all day. So I've put together a quantum fitness program for those of you guys who keep reaching out to me, especially through Instagram. And it is going to be 8 weeks where I'm going to teach you applied kinesiology, applied self-hypnosis, detox program of your fascia, and resistance training that's all based in fun. Also teach you how to talk to your higher self and get your higher self to actually help make choices versus willpower. Because when you're using willpower, you're fighting against all the body programs. And if you're using willpower, you're going to fail. Okay? So it's not like you have to eat this kind of diet or you have to do that. But in the beginning, I will work with you to kind of determine what foods through your higher self were going to help you move out of lack, out of depression, out of anxiety, into activating and utilizing your hormones to accelerate you into a higher level of consciousness. And I really feel like right now it is a body game, because the body is electromagnetic energy and it is the one creating matter within you. So you're going to need the body if you want to get over. And it is a battle of the fittest right now. You don't need to get in, bikini ready. You don't need to be like muscled out. But I will say, the stronger you are in your body, the more confidence you have, the more you actually know what your body needs and wants, because you're listening more. You're having way more energy. You need less sleep. And ideally, you need less food. But that comes at the end after you've replenished and repaired. So I think all of us, once we're in 5D, want to have a body that resembles something closer to our higher selves, right? Not just me. And it's not about vanity, it's about self-love. So if you guys are interested in any of those programs, please check out my new website, jessicaalstrom.com. Find me here on Facebook. Hit me up on the instant messenger. Reach out to my team through the website itself, or any other way you can find me. I'm pretty much everywhere. YouTube, you name it. So thank you guys so much. I just wanted to give a couple shout outs to some really powerful people who have helped me build this new program that I'm building, build my new website. And they are my team in Ireland, Julie and Warren. Obviously, Frank, you guys all know Frank. He's my traveling gypsy he's literally been my saving grace, because I will tell you that the tech area of the world and the creating of the content and blah, blah, blah has not been my highest joy, because I came here to play. So I just want to give them all a shout out for all of those amazing people that have helped me be able to come live to you guys month after month. And just hope you guys are doing awesome. Hope that you got a nugget today of something that made sense or connected the dots. Stay out of the problem, into the solution. Watch your frequencies, guys. Make sure that you are who you say you choose to be, and then act it out, because your actions are being watched constantly to determine your state of being. Your state of being determines the reality that you generate. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next month. Hey, it's supposed to be celebrated in the United States, our Independence Day, right? So maybe we can get those airports open so we can start traveling abroad again. All right, let's all focus our intentions in the heart. You are invincible. You are unlimited when you're here. All right, when you're there, you're who you were when you were 15 and making mistakes. So that's old school. We don't want that anymore. So I will see you guys all very soon. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today.